so I just got to ask you, growing up, basketball-wise, who was just some of your favorite players that you looked up to?
Um, Definitely like Breanna, Stewart, Asia Wilson. I feel like those were like the big like college players when I was like in middle school. So definitely watched them a ton. I'm trying to think about like obviously like Sue Bird, Tarazi. Like I feel like everybody knew them like from New York, so Connecticut wasn't that far away. But probably those guys the most.
So obviously, WNBA is super talented, but the people that you mentioned, you're going to be able to match up, especially against the Breanna Stewarts of the world, the Asians. Just being able to realize that people that you watched growing up, you're going to be able to match up with them. How do you feel about that, and how excited is that for you?
Yeah, I mean it's so cool. I think last year like playing those games against those guys the first time, you're like, oh my gosh, and then like eventually, you know, the switch turns and you're like, all right, I got to defend or whatever you're doing. But it's definitely cool to be able to watch people. You grew up watching the league, and now to be able to play in it is just an honor.
One thing that just looking from the home opener, the energy from the crowd, and it seemed like I watched you in particular, and just how you fed off that energy. Seeing the crowd, the energy, the game is growing. The WNBA for you, just the place that it's at right now, how do you feel that the game is improving for us, the growth? Because I feel like it is growing at a standpoint where people are tuned in and you get these crowds. It's almost like every crowd, every arena has a different type of crowd. And this crowd was really rowdy for that first game versus Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, it's such an exciting time to be a part of women's basketball right now. I think, the league has just had so much talent for so long, and, to see a lot of media attention is huge. And I think, it's well deserved from the top of the league to the bottom of the league. So just to be a part of it, I see, all around the league, like, the first few games, the crowds have been great. So, I'm just so happy to be a part of it. And, I hope it continues all year and future and, forever.
One thing about this team, everybody understands their role. Like, for the most part, when you came in, you instantly it just clicked like the microwave. Vinny Johnson was a guy in the NBA that people thought that when he came in off the bench, he did his thing, he understood his role. You understand your role, and I think this team, for the most part, everybody understands the role. People have stepped up, especially with the injuries, obviously. Just looking at this team, what do you see in the potential of this Wings team going this year?
I think, everyone, we have really good team chemistry, and I think when you have that, it's huge. And just knowing, feed off of each other, and like, you try to feed the hot hand, and we rely on our experienced players like Enrique, Tierra, Kalani, Tosh, like so that's who we're gonna feed off of throughout the season. But just continue to have that confidence in each other, I think really is huge.
Love it. Last question. So this is a fun question. I usually do this like in different sports, just different variations. But if you could build non-teammates, build the perfect starting five for a WNBA team, and it could be positionless. I know sometimes it's like who's a forward, who's a guard, right? Because everybody can do everything at this point. So talented. If you could build the perfect five, you could put all timers. You don't have to put people from the day, but if you did a five that you would put out on the floor, non-teammates, because you got some great teammates, that'd be too easy for you. Who would it be?
I think you know for the forwards, probably Breanna Stewart, Asia Wilson. Uh, I'm not sure about the three guard. I mean, two, I want to say Enrique. Hmm.
That's an easy one.
The
Yeah.
one and three, I would have to think about. There's so many great, maybe Sue Bird, and then Tarazi at three. I don't know. There's so many great players, but then Chelsea Gray at one. I don't know. There's a lot of.
So you just got
It would be tough to be a GM to
it's
do
too
that.
talented, too talented. You know what? And that's a follow up question. And this is my last one for you. If you could take any skill from any player and add it to your skill set, whether it's somebody's handle, ability to do something, what would it be? I think that's a good one because you got somebody to get to. You can use a teammate for this if you want to.
Oh, Enrique's handle for sure,
Okay. I
for
like
sure.
that. I like that. Well, I
Yeah.
appreciate your time. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. First off, I appreciate everyone tuning into my WNBA content. It's going to be more of this. So be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Peace.